Alright, onwards for the day. But guess what? I actually got a reply from the DJI. That was actually pretty quick, so I guess they followed through for that lady who did the customer service, I suppose. And they actually gave me a quote theory as to what's wrong with the gimbal and all that. So something interesting. To my understanding too, this is actually directly from the supervisor person, so to speak. So all of this answer you can take as quote official. Some of them has actually, it might open up a can of worms actually with the way they handle like the Mavic Pro. It's kind of strange. NDA requires your prompt attention. It just keeps coming and coming this week. What's going on? It's like everything's coming at the same time. Right, not sure when this will finish up, but back to the DJI. Essentially, I got a response, and here is the actual reply. It says here, "Dear Alan Yu, thank you for your reply. You have a damaged IMU in the gimbal, which is the cause of your calibration issue. This can be caused by a hard landing. Any repaired unit comes with a 30-day warranty of that repair. We will review flight logs to verify if any pilot error took place. To avoid multiple active cases, this complaint case is now closed. If you need further assistance, please call our customer service support line and reference your repair case." And at the end it says, "Best regards," I guess that guy who's the supervisor, so to speak. Almost makes me wonder, why was that so hard to do in the beginning? Isn't that what I asked from the beginning? What happened exactly and how? Although this also makes it sound a little weird. It says it can be caused by a hard landing. How can I land it hard? Like, I don't know, like for everyone else who doesn't fly a Mavic, essentially the way it lands is when you hold down, it actually delays for a couple of seconds, I guess, just to make sure it's a safe landing, and then it, it goes down and lands. So on the bench, on the ground, whatever. So in that sense, how can you have a hard landing that's not to the manufacturer specification, or there could be a user error in any way there? I don't get it. But again, at least they're gonna check it and see if anything's wrong. And of course, the other important question was, how long did they expect this thing to last, for example? What kind of guarantee did they give? And according to this, a 30-day guarantee. So that's better than nothing, although 30 days really makes me wonder, since the gimbal and everything like that is actually supposed to be the main part of the unit, like the main feature, why only like a 30-day? But at least they gave the answer. But what do you guys think about that 30-day warranty for the gimbal? To me personally anyways, I mean, that just kind of further emphasizes why so many people are having that many issues. If it is something physically wrong with the way it's designed or something like that, I mean, only 30 days, that's not a lot of faith in your product, honestly. I can see if we're talking about propellers, okay, for like the Mavic for 30 days, but as the main unit, like the gimbal or the camera or whatever, that seems a little odd. Although it does explain why so many people have so many issues, again, if it's really that flimsy or whatever. And the other thing that was kind of interesting was he said multiple cases. I'm like, multiple cases? Every time I've replied, every time I phoned in, I used the same number in terms of the case ID. So what, was there one case, for example, with the first one I submitted, there's another case with the guy that I phoned initially, and then another case for whoever's like replying to the YouTube videos? Are they all different? Like there was a different case assigned to it, and then afterwards this lady I phoned? But I guess it's safe to say the good customer service agent, the lady I talked to yesterday, followed through. It seems like it, correct? She basically did what she said, got the attention, they replied within 1 day, so at least I have an answer, and hopefully they follow through with the data and see what's going on. And on that note too, in terms of customer service, again, I don't think all these guys are in the same state, especially whoever's replying on the YouTube channel, because they replied again, and in my opinion, their replies are really mind-boggling. I mean, keep in mind, this guy just replied saying they think, for example, it could have been caused by a hard landing or whatever, okay? I still don't see how if you're using it as a regular user. And at the same time, they're saying they're checking the data, so they're actually doing something to try to solve the issue, to find out exactly what's wrong, to ask my question. And then this DJI support, they're still replying for some reason with these stupid replies. I mean, this person wrote here, "We tried our best to make this situation clear to you and provided you the best offer. Will not reply you on this case anymore. Hope you can understand. As I mentioned before, if you want to move forward with the repair, please pay for it. Or if you choose not to pay for your repair, we can arrange to have your craft returned to you as is, unrepaired. Thanks." Again, whoever's behind this, it doesn't make sense. Just based on the time, these people here, it seemed like they reply like within 1 a.m. or something like that, like Pacific time. And remember, that supervisor guy just replied saying, yes, we'll find out the data, that's what they're doing more. This person basically is saying, no, screw you, we're not gonna talk to you anymore or whatever. It's a completely polar opposite in terms of what's going on. Again, it makes me think these are completely different people in different divisions in different countries or something like that. I mean, at this point, whoever's replying to this, I mean, I would conclude personally, your goal is not to actually help me. Your goal is to try to make yourself look good. I mean, you already said that the first time before, saying that's it. Essentially, we're not gonna reply to you anymore, yet you still did. I mean, my only conclusion is the only reason why you replied is, funny enough, that one I was talking about the bebop, just because I read it that day. Is that the reason why you did it? Just because you think it makes a competitor look better? I mean, for me, I'm just sharing my experience as is. And if you continue to reply like that, again, it's not helping you. If you're not actually helping me get the answers, then stop posting. Oh my goodness, I'm surprised the company is not putting you on a leash. Although I guess this shows for like whoever this is, when something gets enough attention in their opinion, where it's a quote threat, I guess, to their image, they respond. All right, time to get to work. Be back in a bit. All right, done for the day. It's actually a lot of funny stuff. It's too bad I can't talk about it. I did get an interesting notification during that time about the Transport Canada meeting, the one in Ontario, I believe, and there was some kind of error. It said that I was registered for the Toronto session. I was like, what? Since when? Maybe it's the virtual one. I actually don't know how that one's gonna run, whether or not everyone can actually attend that regardless of where you are. Hopefully you guys have some interesting questions for them, like by now, since you guys have more information than I did. Maybe you guys can ask some questions in a really tough way so that they have to answer it to see whether or not they're truly open to change. But one of the crazy stories I read was civilian drone crashes into an army helicopter. It says here the UA-60 helicopter was flying 500 feet over Midland Beach alongside another Black Hawk when the drone struck the chopper at around 8:15 p.m. Thursday, causing damage to its rotor blades. The uninjured pilot was able to land safely at a nearby Linden Airport in New Jersey. And to my understanding, this was not an attack. That's what they wanted to clarify. It wasn't somebody trying to purposely crash into the helicopter. It was just some idiot flying there getting photos or whatever. This actually made me think of two things. One, obviously that drone flyer is really stupid. Like, what the heck are you doing flying near the helicopter anyways? And with the height restriction, I would imagine they broke the rules there. That's my example too on how it's irresponsible people, those people you can't really change. You should just have punishments in place for people like them. Because most responsible people wouldn't do that, to my knowledge. The other thing I was super curious about is wondering how much damage did this drone actually do? They actually didn't really say what type of drone it was, but I'm curious in terms of how much actual damage it did, because the narrative here anyways, not to say it's right for the drone flyer to fly that high or near the aircraft or whatever, but usually the narrative is that's it, even the tiniest drone, it'll crash the helicopter and you're dead, like 100%, for example. Whereas this kind of opens up the perspective a little bit, saying like, well, is it really that crazy, like in a movie way, where this tiny thing is going to cause it to blow up? Or does it require something more significantly large, for example, as opposed to the smaller consumer drones? To me, basically, that's kind of interesting. But the funny story of drones and crashing, though, I read this one. It says, woman nearly throws away $50,000 drone found in her backyard. And from what I gathered, this drone literally was in her backyard, and she was like, oh, what is this? Probably garbage. But then she decided to research it. Apparently, it's something called the Trimble UX5. I mean, it's definitely not a consumer drone. I don't know if I would ever throw something like that away if I saw it. I'd be curious in finding out what it is. Especially something of that size too. I would assume at first I'd think like, is this a military drone or something that landed here? Some quick questions. Did I have the DJI care? No, I don't, and it wouldn't have made a difference anyways. I made a video about that. It kind of worked out to the same thing and you would have got the same response anyways. And in terms of my long distance fees, fortunately for my cell phone plan, I have unlimited calling to the US, so that's the good thing that enabled me to document all this without going crazy financially. And I haven't tried posting this in their forum as well, because to my understanding, they have all the details, they're processing it, so I didn't really see a point in doing that. At the same time, I was even reading how some people in the forum, again, they sent it back 5 times and they had no luck, so in my opinion, it's the same thing, except this way I'm actually getting all the documentation in this way as well. That's how I saw it anyways. And you're welcome for everyone who appreciates the documentation and all that. I just hope again they change. I mean, it obviously does make a difference. Maybe they're too short term, whoever's replying to that, well, the YouTube channel anyways. I mean, obviously it makes some kind of an impact if they feel the need to always give these robot responses. You guys read what I read, so apparently they're looking at the data, so let's hold tight and see what they do. It's kind of sad. It took, what, 1+ month? That's something they should have done right in the beginning in terms of the diagnosis. Check everything, the data, make sure nothing is wrong, because who knows? Maybe it's just some dumb software issue or something like that. I got a lot of studying to do too. Alright, see you guys later.